People often say that if you live under stress, you'll go grey faster. On top of that, we have the dramatic stories. Marie Antoinette supposedly turned white before her execution. John McCain came back after years as a prisoner of war, looking much greyer than when he left. So, is there really a direct link between emotion and hair? Between chronic stress and the moment a follicle stops making pigment? For a long time, we had no solid answer. It sounded more like exaggeration than biology. Only recently have studies, including work from Harvard, mapped an actual pathway. They show how psychological stress reaches the stem cells that keep hair coloured, and how it can both accelerate greying and flip pigment off. First of all, why do we even have stress? We feel it for a reason. Stress is a survival program that mobilizes your body to act when something feels threatening. Your body runs in two main modes. In the calm state, the parasympathetic nervous system handles rest and digest, slower heart rate, better digestion, repair and recovery. In the alert state, the sympathetic nervous system drives fight or flight. Heart rate goes up, blood pressure rises, blood is sent to the muscles so you can move, fight or focus. Stress itself also has two layers. The fast layer is nerve-driven. Sympathetic nerves switch on within seconds, your heart and breathing speed up, and blood is pulled away from skin and gut toward muscles and brain. The slower layer is hormone-driven. It releases cortisol, which shifts how your body uses energy and keeps you in a stressed state for minutes to hours. Both layers are useful. They help you adapt and cope. The trouble starts when strong stress never really switches off. Then both the fast nerve system and the slow hormone system are pushed again and again across the day. Over time, that constant push wears on long-lived tissues and delicate systems. Hair follicles turn out to be one of the casualties. Stress is surprisingly tightly wired into the process that gives your hair its colour. Each hair grows from a follicle in the skin. At the base of that follicle, pigment cells called melanocytes pack melanin into the growing hair shaft. That is what you see as hair colour. These melanocytes are constantly replaced from a small reserve of melanocyte stem cells that live in a protected pocket called the bulge niche. Each time a new growth phase starts, some stem cells wake up, leave the niche, and turn into new melanocytes. Others stay behind to keep the reserve going. Over many cycles, that reserve slowly runs down. Stress is wired directly into this process. The bulge niche is wrapped in sympathetic nerve fibers, the same nerves that drive the fight or flight response. When they fire under stress, they release noradrenaline straight into the stem cell niche. To test this pathway, researchers at Harvard turned to mice. They exposed the animals to strong stressors that massively activated the sympathetic nerves around their hair follicles. The stressed mice went grey much faster than controls. Then they removed the usual suspects. Even without immune cells or without adrenal glands to make cortisol, the mice still went grey under stress. So it was not an immune attack, and it was not cortisol. What remained was the nerve root. Stress acting through fight or flight fibers that release noradrenaline into the melanocyte stem cell niche and directly reach the pigment regenerating cells. So what does that noradrenaline surge actually do inside the follicle? Under a strong burst of noradrenaline, normally quiet melanocyte stem cells are jolted out of their resting state. Instead of pacing their activity over many hair cycles, they all get the signal at once. A large share of the stem cells suddenly convert into melanocytes and leave the bulge to join the pigment zone. In the process, the niche loses much of its long-term reserve in a very short time. Once those stem cells are gone, the body does not refill that specific niche. The next hair cycles begin with no pigment-producing cells left to call on. New hairs from those follicles grow in grey or white. Do we know for sure that greying from stress is irreversible? If the melanocyte stem cell reserve in a follicle is completely spent, that greying is probably permanent. There's simply nothing left to rebuild pigment cells from. But a study from Columbia University suggests there's a window before that point. In some hairs, grey segments actually darkened again when everyday stress went down. That implies that in at least some follicles, stress doesn't destroy the pigment system outright. It temporarily switches it off. If stem cells are still there and the stress load eases, pigment production can switch back on. Stress is not the only driver of greying. Still, lowering it can take pressure off the pigment system. The goal is not to eliminate stress, but to reduce how often the body stays stuck in on mode. One lever is movement. Regular walking already helps. Adding strength sessions per week can help too, as long as recovery is respected. Otherwise, chronic fatigue becomes another stressor. Another lever is downshifting on purpose. 5 to 10 minutes a day of breathwork or meditation is enough to train faster recovery after stress hits. In the moment, a simple reset is slow nasal breathing for 2 to 3 minutes. A third lever is cognitive load. Rumination, doom scrolling, constant checking, and unfinished tasks keep the brain in an alert loop. Reduce inputs. Make tomorrow simpler the night before. Put worries into a short scheduled slot and turn notifications off in focused blocks. And then there is physiological load. Try to avoid big swings in energy intake that lead to spikes and crashes. Hydrate. Cut back on nicotine and heavy alcohol, since both push the system toward chronic activation. Keep a clean shutdown at night and protect your sleep window, so the nervous system actually has time to switch off. These help hair hold its colour longer, and they also improve the health of both mind and body.